On a crisp autumn morning, Iran stunned the world by unveiling what it claims is a new operational stealth bomber, the Kaman-22. The event was shrouded in secrecy, with only select officials and media present, heightening the sense of anticipation and intrigue. The aircraft, showcased in a dramatic state media video, taxied down a runway at an undisclosed location, its flying wing silhouette unmistakable. The footage, carefully edited and set to stirring music, showed the Kaman-22 gliding across the tarmac, its angular lines reminiscent of the world's most advanced bombers. For years, Iran has made bold claims about its military hardware, often met with skepticism. But this time, the footage looked more convincing, enough to make global analysts take notice and begin dissecting every frame for clues about its authenticity and capabilities. The development of a strategic stealth bomber was thought to be far beyond Iran's reach, a feat only the US, Russia, and China have achieved after decades of research and billions in investment. Iran's announcement, therefore, sent shockwaves through military circles worldwide. The timing is no accident. Just months after a US air raid on Iran's nuclear facilities, Tehran's message is clear: we can respond in kind, and we are not as vulnerable as some might believe. The Kaman-22 is as much a statement as it is a weapon. The Kaman-22's reveal has ignited fierce debate. Is it a real functioning stealth bomber or just an elaborate mock-up for propaganda? Experts are divided, with some pointing to technical inconsistencies, while others warn against underestimating Iran's progress. If genuine, it would upend strategic calculations across the Middle East, challenging Western air supremacy and forcing neighboring countries to rethink their own defenses. Even the possibility of a credible Iranian stealth bomber introduces a new, unpredictable element into an already volatile region. Regional powers are now on alert, and military planners are scrambling to assess the potential threat. The world is watching, trying to separate fact from fiction. Newsrooms and intelligence agencies are poring over every detail, searching for answers in a sea of speculation. The stakes have never been higher, as the balance of power in the region may be shifting before our eyes. To truly grasp the impact of Iran's claim, you first need to understand what makes a stealth bomber so formidable on the modern battlefield, and why it's considered a game-changer in aerial warfare. Stealth isn't about making an aircraft literally invisible to the naked eye. It's about making it nearly impossible to detect, track, or target using radar and other sensors. Conventional planes bounce radar waves straight back to the source, lighting up radar screens. Stealth bombers, on the other hand, are engineered to deflect or absorb those waves, shrinking their radar cross-section to the size of a bird, or sometimes even less, making them almost ghost-like to enemy defenses. The secret behind this capability? It's a combination of 4 critical elements: the aircraft's shape, the advanced materials used, signature management techniques, and a total design philosophy that prioritizes low observability at every step. The flying wing design, like you see on the B-2 Spirit, is no accident. It's specifically crafted to scatter radar waves in all directions, rather than reflecting them back to enemy radars. Special radar-absorbent materials, often made from advanced composites, soak up radar energy instead of bouncing it back, further reducing the aircraft's signature. Even the engines are hidden deep within the body, exhausts are cooled to minimize heat signatures, and cockpit glass is coated to block radar waves. Every detail is meticulously engineered. Every seam, panel, and screw is crafted with precision, designed to avoid creating radar hotspots that could give away the bomber's position. The result is a bomber that can slip through the world's toughest air defenses, flying undetected and striking high-value targets with near impunity, often before the enemy even knows it's there. For adversaries, it's a nightmare scenario. Stealth bombers can bypass even the most advanced radar networks, rendering billions in air defense investments almost useless. This is why stealth is considered the ultimate tool of air power. It doesn't just give an edge, it completely changes the rules of warfare, forcing militaries to rethink their strategies. A true stealth bomber can hold any target at risk anywhere on the planet, projecting power and influence far beyond its home base. That's the level of power and strategic reach Iran now claims to possess, a claim that, if true, could shift the balance in the region. The Command 22's resemblance to the American B-2 Spirit is striking. Same flying wing shape, no tail, smooth blended surfaces. Analysts believe Iran either reverse-engineered the design or closely studied public data. The Command 22 appears smaller than the B-2, likely making it a regional, not intercontinental bomber. Engine intakes and exhausts mimic the B-2, but Iran's version looks less sophisticated, potentially a major weakness. The real test is beneath the surface. The B-2's stealth relies on advanced materials, complex flight controls, and constant maintenance. Iran's industrial base is unlikely to match these hidden technologies. The Command 22 may look the part, but it's almost certainly less capable, likely with a bigger radar signature, shorter range, and smaller payload. Still, even a partially stealthy bomber is a serious threat to regional adversaries. The Command 22 is a shadow of the B-2, but even a shadow can be dangerous. Its existence alone is enough to unsettle the region. Iran's motivations are clear: deterrence, prestige, and regional power. The Command 22 signals that any attack on Iran could be met with a stealthy counterstrike against high-value targets in the region. Domestically, it's a symbol of resilience and technological prowess, boosting national pride under sanctions. Militarily, it gives Iran a new tool to threaten rivals' infrastructure and shift from a purely defensive to a more offensive posture. With an outdated air force, Iran is leapfrogging to asymmetric capabilities: drones, missiles, and now potentially stealth bombers. The Command 22 is the boldest piece yet in Iran's strategy to counter superior adversaries. The unveiling of the Command 22 sent shockwaves across the globe, dominating headlines and sparking intense debate among world leaders and defense experts alike. In Washington, officials publicly downplayed the threat, insisting the situation was under control. But behind closed doors, they scrambled for intelligence, urgently seeking answers about the drone's true capabilities and what it might mean for U.S. interests in the region. U.S. experts voiced skepticism, with some suspecting the aircraft was merely a mock-up for show. Yet no one dared to dismiss Iran's progress outright, recognizing the country's growing expertise in drone technology and the potential for surprises. In the Middle East, alarm bells rang as news of the Command 22 spread rapidly, fueling anxiety and speculation about a shifting balance of power. Israel and Gulf states immediately saw the bomber as a direct threat, prompting urgent talks with Washington and among themselves to coordinate a response and reassess their own military strategies. The regional arms race is set to accelerate, with powers across the Middle East seeking not only better air defenses, but also more advanced offensive capabilities to counter the new threat. Russia and China are watching closely, curious about Iran's technological leap and whether foreign assistance played a role. Both nations are eager to assess the implications for their own military planning and alliances. Western governments are deeply concerned about the potential for technology proliferation, wondering if Iran developed the Command 22 alone, or if outside help was involved, and what that could mean for global security. Independent analysts warn that the real test isn't how the Command 22 looks on the runway, but whether it can truly evade radar, operate effectively in combat, and deliver a payload under real-world conditions. For now, the world has seen only a shape and a promise, not a proven weapon. The true capabilities of the Command 22 remain shrouded in secrecy and speculation. The mystery surrounding the Command 22 could define the region's security landscape for years to come, influencing military planning and diplomatic relations. The stakes are rising fast, and the world is watching closely, waiting to see what comes next. Even a questionable Iranian stealth bomber could reshape the Middle East's military balance. For decades, US and Israeli air supremacy was unchallenged. The Command 22 changes that equation. Regional rivals now face the nightmare of a stealthy bomber slipping past their billion-dollar defenses. Israel's military planning grows more complex. Any strike on Iran could now risk a stealthy counterattack. The Command 22 signals a shift from asymmetric to more conventional, high-end warfare in the region. As the perceived gap in capability narrows, the risk of miscalculation and escalation grows. The old rules of uncontested air power may no longer apply. A new, more unstable era of military competition is dawning. Despite the spectacle, doubts about the Command 22's true capabilities run deep. Building a stealthy-looking airframe is one thing, making it truly undetectable is another. The hardest challenges are advanced materials, engines, and avionics, areas where Iran lags far behind. The US B-2's stealth relies on delicate coatings and constant maintenance. Iran's version likely falls short. Propulsion is another hurdle. Stealth bombers need engines with low heat signatures, a technology Iran probably lacks. The flight control software for a flying wing is complex. Without it, the bomber is unstable and unreliable. Iran has reverse-engineered some electronics, but integrating a full suite of advanced systems is a massive leap. Without these, the Command 22 is more showpiece than credible weapon. For now, it's a symbol, impressive but unproven. The gap between appearance and reality remains wide. The Command 22's reveal has already set off a global chain reaction. US and allied intelligence are racing to determine if it's real or just a bluff. Diplomatically, the bomber will be used as leverage by both Iran and its adversaries. Regionally, an arms race is inevitable, with Gulf states and Israel seeking more advanced defenses and strike options. Iran will use the Command 22 to justify further military buildup, fueling a dangerous cycle. Whether the bomber is a true breakthrough or a bold bluff, it's changed perceptions and raised the stakes. The shadow of the flying wing now looms over the Middle East. The world waits for the next move in this high-stakes game.